even like I play a silly game called Song Pop where you have to guess the song or the title, I mean, or the artist, and they play with me all the time with that because I will get playlists. When you play against somebody else that has a category that you're not familiar with, I won't know any of the songs, and I'll get them all right because they tell me which ones to pick. I'm like,
Hello, Sharon. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the show. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's just get started. So, tell us, how did you get into what you're doing? And first of all, tell us what it is that you do.
okay. I'm just getting started with my business. It's kind of evolved a little bit. I am a spiritual life coach and kind of focusing on abundance and manifestation and uh, finding your purpose. I'm geared towards single mom empty nesters that are kind of looking for something, for some connection. And what I do is I do angel card readings and I do reiki, and I use them as tools to help people to kind of find their new purpose, where they want to go, because at that point, when you're an empty nester, you're kind of like, in a transition. So that's who I'm looking to help. And as far as what kind of brought me here, my journey has been, I was exposed to a lot of holistic things very young in life. My mom was a massage therapist in the 70s, and she, was into yoga and all the new things that are like common now, but it was before it was kind of, you know, common and new. So I grew up with all this, but I kind of ran away from it for most of my life in saying, "Oh, that's my mom's thing, or that's my sister's thing," and and not me. And well, now they're all gone. My mother, my sister, they've passed, and the angels didn't kind of let me go. They just kind of nagged at me and nagged at me and nagged at me until they it kind of told me like, no, this is what you have to do. So you can't argue with them anymore, So that's kind of what's brought me to this point.
Tell me a bit more about the angels. Do you hear them? Do they communicate with you in another way? How does that work?
Well, it's interesting because like I watch a lot of different people that make the cards, and I a lot of different angel experts, and everybody has a different, some people hear things, some people see things, but with me it's just kind of like I get this thought in my head that's like I have to do this, and it just I don't it just keeps nagging at me, like, well, like for example, I was doing some Uber driving part-time, and I'd be driving, and I had a mess on the front seat, and something would say to me, clean up the mess. And I'd be like, no, I don't feel like cleaning up the mess. No, clean up the mess, clean up the mess. So I clean up the mess, and then the next ride I would be at would be there would be four people and someone needed to sit in the front. And those kind of things started happening a lot where like, even while I was Uber driving, I would be like, okay, let's go here. And I would go there, and someone would bring a ride right from where I was at. So I start like it just like I get these ideas, and I don't know where they come from. They just come out, and I say things, and and that's how it happens. It's just and I'm still kind of working with it and being able to understand all the messages.
It's about learning to trust what that voice is actually a guidance voice and not just some idea that came randomly into your head. So how would you
Exactly,
know the
exactly.
difference? How would you know what's the difference?
Well, I can't. It's hard to explain the feeling because it's just like like I'm compelled to do what and it's just like sometimes it's foreign. It's like what do you mean I have to do this? No, this is what I have to do, and it's just like a feeling that I just like I have to do what it's telling me to do, and there is no question about it at that point. So I'm like, okay. And I've been learning to listen, because if I don't listen, like another example, while I was driving, I would be like, okay, I'm going to get off at this exit. And then I was like, no, I'll go to the next exit because, I'll go there to sit. I pass the exit. As soon as I pass the exit, I get a call to go to that street that I just passed. So I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to listen.
So some people that are skeptical, and most of our viewers are not, but for those that are, what if somebody had to say you got compelled to say, well, go hurt this person? How would you know that that's actually a good sign versus not a good sign? Because there are people that say the angels are, but how do you know it's angels?
Well, it's always it's for the best thing. It's I don't get, ideas to do something bad. I don't the angels have your best interest. They're always with you, and they want what's best for you. So, you know, um and learning to trust that when it happens, because I've tried to like ignore it and to, not believe in it, but it just keeps coming back. They keep coming back and say, no, you're not getting away with this. You need to listen. So it's just like a compelling feeling that I can't. It's not, and I never really felt like this before. But all these kind of things keep happening where like I'll have. Okay, even like I play a silly game called Song Pop where you have to guess the song or the title, I mean, or the artist, and they play with me all the time with that because I will get playlists. When you play against somebody else that has a category that you're not familiar with, I won't know any of the songs, and I'll get them all right because they tell me which ones to pick. I'm like, okay, even something simple like playing a game, and that's kind of like how I've been like playing with the responses. I'm like, okay, because a lot of times I'll be like, pick this one. No, I'll pick this one. And of course, when I pick that one, it should have been the one that I was supposed to pick. And it happens all the time, and it's just getting more and more and more and more.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that there's this great awakening happening, and there's so many people that I'm speaking to that are saying they're being told you need to go out and you need to spread this great work, and people need to wake up. So I'm not
Yes.
surprised, but I do think because I don't hear voices, I get a feeling, but it's interesting because everybody's got the way of picking up on
Some
verbal cues
people,
or audio cues.
yeah, some people see things, some people hear things. I just get this like, like I said, it just feels like a thought that, I don't know where it comes from, but just like, or things will come out of my mouth and I'll just tell people, like when I'm reading the cards, because I will, pull a card and it just goes right along with what they just tell me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did an interview last week with a lady. She's a veterinarian, but she also is an animal communicator. And she's also created cards, but the cards are not telling her anything. The cards are just a way for you to confirm that what you heard was true. So is that the same thing that you're getting as well? It's like an anchor.
Mm, no, no, because the cards like I'm obsessed and I have about almost 150 decks of cards. I get, I'm obsessed. I like to do them all. They're different. I don't do tarot at all. I do only angel and oracle cards, and they're a little different because in tarot you've got the same, even though it could be a million different decks and different twists on it, it's the same cards. They're the
Yeah.
same, suits and the same things that fit. With oracle cards, they're all different. So, I do a lot of like I will read the book, what they're saying, and then the book just kind of confirms everything, and it all just kind of comes from there.
Yeah. So so the main thing is how do you heal people through Reiki? How do you help
Okay.
someone find their purpose? Or is that something separate?
Okay, well, Reiki is an energy healing, and that can be done, in person where you put your hands near someone, or it can be distance Reiki. In the higher levels of Reiki, you don't have to be in the same place. There's symbols that you use, and there's a ritual. So that can, that how that's used. And finding your purpose is, I've took a lot of different life coaching courses, and you know finding your purpose a lot of times at this point, when you're an empty nester, you've been a mom, you've been, focused on the kids, and now they're gone, and so you get that feeling like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So the cards help to give the suggestions as to what's to come next.
Okay, that makes sense. So, and the Reiki, do you do it remotely as well, or is it only in person?
Yes.
You
No,
can
they
do
can
it.
be done in person or remotely. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the the I am technically certified as a Reiki master at this point, but I don't feel I feel like I need a little bit more practice because I did an online course, um, but I guess it's old school. My Reiki one, I went with the Reiki master that taught my mom, and then Reiki 2, my sister was taught me that one, but both of them are deceased. So when I was looking to do the Reiki master, I didn't have a master to go back to. So I had picked someone to work with, but they kind of weren't ready for it. So I did an online course, and I've got the information, but I feel like I have a little bit more practice to do till I feel that I'm at that, that I deserve the title. But I'm working on that, and that's just time that comes in time. you know
I think we all still feel like we still need practice, even if you've been doing it for 20 years.
yeah.
So,
And the
what
thing
would you
is,
say?
I've been reading this reading cards for, like for years and years. It just, my mom's been deceased over 20 years already. So that's where I kind of got the cards from. I started before that. So, but I just started recently where I'm doing it, professionally and doing for others, whereas I used to just do it for friends or, family, things like that.
Yeah. What would you say to people that are empty nesters, that are going through some sort of change of life? Because the world's let us down. The way that we are now is not the way we were 3 years ago. So even like just
Exactly.
planning in a year from now, we don't even know where we're going to be.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and that's where the communication comes in, and the information, like I said, from the cards, um that's where it kind of gets started, and then it goes from there, to help people to realize within themselves, to make that connection, because the angels are there. They're all with you, they're ready to help you. All you have to do is ask. And teaching people just that the option is there, and learning how to navigate that, and then that will give them the what they need to be able to find where they're supposed to go at this point,
So
where
this
their
is a
life is supposed to be taking them.
Yeah. And I think, it's important. People need to be able to tap in, but sometimes, especially in the beginning when you're new to it, you need that guiding hand. It's just that get that stability. Once you know what you're doing, you're free, you're free to go off. But a lot of people are still unsure. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust their gut instinct. So this is a bit impromptu, but would you be able to give an angel reading or a card reading just for whoever's
Sure.
watching, whether it's now or in the future?
Yeah, here's a deck. I have them everywhere.
Okay.
There's a couple in my room that are better, but this is fine. These ones are a little pocket deck. They're called Mystical Shaman Pocket Oracle, and they're by Colette Baron Reed is one of my favorites. And it collaborated with a couple other people to do these. So these are a little smaller. I don't usually like the little ones, but we'll use these because the messages are really good. So let's when I shuffle them, and I start, I will ask, I a lot of people, they will like get into the language of I just talk to my angels. I'm like,
Well,
it doesn't have to be a formal, you know, prayer or, I mean, I will read them. I will take, ideas from others. But when I get started, I just say, okay, angels, I'm ready to go. I need you to be with me.
awesome.
The same thing when when I would go out to do Uber driving, I would do it at night, and I would say, every night that I would go out, I had a different experience than most people, because I would say, angels, I'm going out, I need you to watch over me and for my car, and watch over the people that are coming in the car. And I sent Reiki to everybody that comes, and I had a different experience than most, because people would be like, well, how do you go out and do this, in the middle of the night? And oh, but I have a great experience, and it just that's just how it works. So all right,
Yeah.
so let me just shuffle these a little bit, and we'll see what I'll just do. We'll do like a three cards, and we'll see what they have to say. So we'll start with one, and then we'll go from there. So let's see. Okay, this one has I don't know if you can see how you can see. There you go. It's got a giraffe on it, and it says the staff. So let's see. What number is it? Number 51. So we come in. These are it has three different sections on here. It's got the essence of what the card is about, it's got the invitation, and then the medicine. And the medicine is kind of like, what you need to do. So this one is called the staff, and the essence says the staff is the symbol of authority. It holds the power to temper extremes. The staff helps you find the right course of action, the way of the middle, and aids you to maintain your balance after you begin walking in that direction. Moses carried a serpent staff through the desert, and with it he could summon the power of nature to heal or call plagues. The staff reminds you of the impermanence of all things, and that your authority must come from your deep longing to serve. So this right here is just telling me that, like, just we're talking about where to go. It's telling you right here that, to tune in to find out where it's just, this always happens, that whatever we were just talking about, here it is in the message. The invitation: you know how to flow easily between polarities, how to weigh all possibilities, and instinctively select the right path. Trust your inner wisdom and take the first step on a journey that your heart has already embarked on. Use the power of the staff to unite what appears to be divided, to find that delicate balance between will and surrender. So right here, it's talking about where we should go and what you need to do to trust. It's telling you trust, and we're going to give you the guidance as to what to come next. And that's basically the messages that I get all the time. Go forward, take action, and we will give you tell you where to go from there. So the medicine: you are caught in a delicate balance between opposing forces, between masculine and feminine, between action and non-action. Use this to your advantage, as there can be no day without night, no low without high, no wrong without right. This is the time to take corrective action, beginning with your beliefs about what needs to be fixed or repaired. Let destiny take its course, nudging it slightly along. So do you see how that just kind of goes along with what we were just
Yeah,
talking about?
exactly
And
what we're
that's what
saying.
it's just it just makes me, when that happens, I get goosebumps, because it just confirms what we're talking about.
Yeah,
So that's, right there. It goes, for people that are looking for, change, as far as, like I said, the empty nesters. But that could go, for anybody. It's telling you to tune in, and we're here to help you.
yeah.
Like I said, it just gives me goosebumps every time it happens. So let's pick a secondary card, and see, if it has any more information to go from here. Okay, now this one. Oh, okay. It's kind of hard to see what the picture is. Oh, my dog is climbing on me. This one says, it's got an angel on it, and it says the giveaway. It's kind of hard to see the picture, but it's an angel. So let's see what this one says. Okay, so the essence. The giveaway is the gift you offer to life, without attachment, without expecting anything back. You can only give what is truly yours: a smile, a nod of encouragement, a gentle touch, and a kind word. This is not giving to others what you no longer want, like the sweater that no longer fits, but gifting that which is most precious, your authentic love and genuine feelings. The invitation: make a list of 10 people and things for which you are grateful. Connect with the feeling of gratitude. The giveaway comes to ask you to feel the same gratitude without needing anything or anyone to inspire it, and to share this gratitude with those you meet. As you offer thanks, your heart opens and you start realizing how much life has given you. You heal your feelings of scarcity and open yourself to the abundance that surrounds you. The giveaway invites you to be in the flow of life as you give freely and receive freely. There again, we're talking about, listening, and as you listen, they're going to give you the answers as to what, as you go forward. The answers, they're there, and give of yourself as you, because raising your vibration is the way that you're going to get the knowledge, where you're going to be able to hear them, because the angels kind of vibrate at a higher frequency. So if we do those kind of things, like being grateful, and dealing with those kind of things, that gives you the opportunity to know what's coming next. So the medicine: is it difficult for you to set limits on how much you give how much of yourself you give? If you give more than is healthy, you will not be able to give for long. You'll feel resentful with your partner or associates, or you'll feel like the world owes you something in return. Notice if you give for any reason other than pure generosity. Are you trying to be liked or accepted? Are you hoping to heal an old wound? Start giving to yourself first and foremost. Offer yourself the care, the love, the time, the acceptance that you are longing for. Once you experience plenty, then you can truly give to others. So again, that tells me that the way to be able to find your answers is to give of yourself, and to be open to what's coming next, to open to the blessings.
Which actually ties in with people that are wanting to do something new. Because you can't
Exactly.
do something, you don't want to be doing something you're not good at. You want to do something that comes from the heart. And that way you spread your love and you share your gifts with the world. So that was pretty nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those, like I said, they always, I ask them to tell me, what I need to hear right now, or what the person needs to hear. And it, you know, they just it comes, and it's like they don't let me down. Because I say to them, I don't know, this is not me that's doing this. I'm opening up, and just I'm kind of like the channel where it comes through, so that they can, I can just share the messages, is basically what I do.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So tell me,
Mm.
as a coach, as a spiritual coach, how does that work? Do you use the cards or do you mentor your clients?
Yes, and that's the program. I'm in the process of putting together my program. So I went through this year, and it's kind of like what started me on this path. It was actually the pandemic, when things started, everybody shut down, and everybody kind of went crazy. I went into into recreate mode, and I did all kinds of courses and reading and meditation, and I just went on a journey, and it's kind of taken me to here now. And so I took, quite a lot of different courses, on meditation, on goal setting, on, abundance and manifestation, on finding your purpose. And so I've taken all these courses, and I didn't really, they weren't like new things to me. It just kind of gave me the certification on things that I already knew. And gave me the tools with which, and what I'm doing now is working on the program. It's not together yet, but I'm working on this, to be, in the next, few weeks, to be able to put out. I'm working on a course, and what I'm going to be doing as far as coaching, and, like, how long of a program and things. I'm still working on that, but the I use all of these as tools. The teaching people, it all has to like how to breathe, how to stay in the moment, how to because those are the ways that you're going to hear messages of what is coming next. So um kind of like taking people through the process. It's just different habits, different daily habits, and it's not just like it didn't, you know my life didn't just turn around in 1 minute. It's taken time. It's taken, little steps, little things, keeping consistent with doing things, a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And then, when you're taking one step and one step and one step, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you went a mile already. And, so that's pretty cool how it is. And so, my purpose is to be able to journey, with people that are looking for, a new, direction, what to do with themselves. Because like I said, if they've put all of their effort into giving to others, to being the mother, to giving to the kids, to giving to the family, to, and that's been their identity, to be able to find out what is it that, what do they want? Because they, just as that card said, giving too much of yourself, that you get depleted, so learning how to nourish yourself to be able to hear the messages and find out where you're going next.
Yeah. Yeah, I think lockdown did a lot for people. And, my take on it was that it highlighted that there was a problem. It didn't actually cause a problem. It made people sit back and actually have to reckon with what's going on. So if they're struggling in their business and the business closes, that was already a pre-existing problem. So what was that reinvention that you needed? Because there must have been something else that you were doing that caused you to do this, and why?
Okay. Well, I've had a tough journey. And it's really awesome that my life right now is amazing. Once I've tuned into to this, things just come to me, and it's just amazing. If I need money, people give me things. People give me money. Things just show up in my life. And it wasn't always like this. I went through, about, I would say about 15 years ago, I went through a big mess, where I kind of lost everything in my life. I lost my job. I lost my car. My husband left. I was in the hospital, almost died. Actually, I did die and come back. We lost the house. Everything just, I was a total mess. And I ended up kind of like putting everything in storage and going to stay with my sister for an undetermined time to kind of like figure out what was going on. And I had kind of done a lot of damage to myself physically, through not taking care of myself, through over exercising or under exercising, or different, things that I had done in my life. And so I was then on disability. So I've spent about 12 years on disability, but doing these other things, building up to get me to this point. I was a teacher before. I've done, I taught Spanish to preschool to eighth grade. I have a degree in elementary education. So I kind of went through that path, and I kind of did that when I was married, and I was the teacher and worried about my daughter and did that. But as she left, and I went to kind of go reinvent myself. I had gastric sleeve surgery, and from my highest weight, I lost about 300 pounds. Um, I I found out that I was diagnosed, as bipolar disorder. So I was able to figure out why, at 51 years old, being diagnosed with this, it was kind of like, now you're telling me this? I can't. But when I actually went to take a look at it, everything kind of made sense as to why I had done some of the things in my life, and was now able to use tools to be able to deal with that, and navigate that, and succeed, even though I have this issue, and like I said, I've kind of turned my life around, that, you know, um, I will probably be coming off of disability because I'm doing so well. I mean, I still have health issues, which I will need, medication and things like that. And that's, one of the things that I kind of like, I do things holistically, but I'm not stupid. And I know that I have to deal with, like I'm diabetic and I do what I have to do. If I have to take medicine, I take medicine on top of it. And, I deal with it in all ways. So that's I take a look at how that goes. But, so that's kind of like what brought me, like my life kind of just was a big total mess. And now, I get up when I want to get up. I go where I want to go. I do what I want to get to do. I have great friends. You know, um, things I just manifest. It's just like I have one of the cards that I have from one of the decks that says manifesting is my superpower, and I use that as my that's my here, I think I even have it right. It's my manifesting
Amazing.
is my superpower,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
that it's that's another thing that I do that I put like a meditation with with affirmations that go on like at night when I go to sleep. I do like a relaxation and wind down, and then it goes into 3 hours of affirmations. So it takes work to be able to change the thoughts, but it can be done, and I'm living proof.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the thing is, I mean, as a coach myself, I know that a lot of people are acting out patterns that come from childhood trauma, and they keep repeating the same thing. And until you go back and rewire your brain, you're going to keep repeating the same pattern. So you have to do the inner work. Otherwise, you're not going to change your outcome. You can't think that you're just going to push it under the rug and that somehow you're going to start
Exactly.
thinking differently, because that's magical thinking. And yes, there is
Exactly.
magic, but magical thinking is not going to change the way you normally operate. So, how did they at 51 um, now only diagnose you with bipolar? Were there signs? Because there's a lot of people that are struggling with that at the moment. So how did you
Yes.
find it?
Well, I, there were thoughts that I had, one of the things, there's suicidal thoughts. There are, behaviors that, the ups and the downs, being um, like out of control, kind of like, and to be able to, with medication as well as therapy, as well as, I have a therapist, and so I do talk therapy, I have medication, and I also go to a group. It's called DBSA, which is Depression Bipolar Support Alliance. And I'm one of the facilitators there. So that's kind of like how I give back in that way. Whereas, when we go to group, I don't, I'm not in a like as far as I just as a facilitator, I just kind of move the group along to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak and things like that. But like being learning about things and what the signs are, and if you know about things, it's a little easier to be able to deal with it and accept it if you know what it is.
So how would you know? Because bipolar is a sometimes some people are saying that it's food related. Some people are saying that it's genetic. What is
Well,
your experience?
there are some genetic things. It can be transferred, yes, through family. But but what bipolar is a chemical imbalance in the brain. And that's one of the reasons why I can understand why using medication to help. It's because it helps to rewire the brain, because it's not something that you can control, and you know do I still have thoughts? Yes. They don't go away, but I know how to deal with them better now. And I don't
Yeah.
act on those negative things.
So how do you deal with them?
Um, well, I will like go into meditation. I will, uh, pick cards, I will, and it's funny. It doesn't matter what deck I pick from. I get the same messages. It doesn't matter, if I pick from this one or this one or this one, I get all, and that's been happening to me a lot. And what's been telling me, it's that, the messages that I keep getting are, you're on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing. You need to do this, so, I have to listen, and like I said, it's kind of been just like a culmination of everything, and it all has come together to this now.
Yeah. Do you think that empaths as a collective struggle with things like bipolar more than the ordinary person, or
Um,
is that just something I'm making up?
well, I think that people that are bipolar are very feeling. So I think it may be instead of empaths having bipolar, I think bipolar people are empaths because
Okay, that makes
do
sense.
you know what I'm saying? I think it's more,
Yeah.
I think it's more that way that, because bipolar people can be very sensitive, and creative, and those are things. So, like I said, I don't know that it would be everybody that's an empath has bipolar, but I think a lot of people that have bipolar,
Mm.
feel more and would be under that category.
Yeah, because I mean I'm an empath, but I went through a stage where I was really down, really down. And it's a case of kind of figuring out where did that come from and know that that's not always going to be like that. It's just kind of getting through it and having the awareness. But when it hits you, it's really difficult to kind of step out of it because it consumes you. So it's really, really
Exactly.
hard. And I wonder if that's just not something because the average person that I've met doesn't seem to have that depth of emotion. It's like this, it's not really extreme high and extreme low. It's almost like that when you get into this pit, you feel like you're never going to get out of it. Like you might get past it and then you're going to be back again.
Well, there's bipolar one and bipolar two. Bipolar one is more extremes where you have really highs and really lows, and you see a big difference. Bipolar two is more in the middle it's more depressive with some slight highs and lows. So that could be, the difference.
So tell me about your near death experience. Because you didn't have a near death. You said you died. Did you have any near death? Did something happen?
No, like it bothers me that like, cause I wanted to have some kind of thing, cause I had, I had, I was in the hospital for a month. I had a cellulitis, which turned septic, and I had all kinds of, I was in the hospital for a month, and after that, I had to go to a rehab to learn to walk again because after being in bed for a month, I couldn't walk. Um,
Yeah.
and When I was in rehab, one day I went to go, do my physical therapy, and I wasn't good. And they said they checked my breathing, and they said you have to go to the hospitals. They took me to a hospital, and they said, well, they did a CAT scan, and they said you have blood clots in your lung, and it's covered, and you have to have this procedure. We're gonna sedate you. We're gonna take you to this other hospital where there's only one doctor in the area that does this, and they're gonna do the procedure, and hopefully you'll be okay. You'll wake up. And they really didn't think I was gonna live. They basically told my family, tell her what she needs to hear because you know she may not make this. And I just was kind of like, okay, whatever. Was kind of out of it, and um, I went and woke up a couple days, the day later, and there I was. And the doctor even was like, "We're surprised," and they told, and then I even had like the nurses would come up from the cath lab to tell me, because it was a cardiac catheterization that they do to get rid of no, not cardiac. It was for the lungs. My lungs were just filled with blood clots, and they told me I was a miracle, that they didn't expect me to live, and here I was. So now after that, the bipolar kind of took over, and I had another kind of death experience where I tried to take my own life. And I took a bunch of pills, and again, I don't know how I survived from that, you know. And that's kind of like one of the things that keeps me from trying to that again, because like I said, those thoughts are still in the back there, you know, and we just have to, like, when they come up, one of the things I will remember is that if you try to do this and you don't succeed, it's really hell to live with. You know what I mean? It's really hell to have to deal with that after, you know, like when you come back. I was very angry, you know, when I woke up and saw that I was still here. And, um, but that's when I started the beginning of my transformation, where I went, you know, they put me in, I mean, I took the pills like on a Monday. They didn't find me until Wednesday morning. So, like I said, I don't know how I lived from having all that. I don't remember. And they put me, and then I didn't really remember anything until about Friday. And then they put me into the psych ward. And that's when I started doing, you know, the work, and realizing that I did want to be here. And this is twice now that I've kind of had a dead. They keep sending me back. They don't want me to go over there. So, you know, that's kind of like what started me more on the process of what's taken me to where I am now.
So your angels were like, is she not going to get this message?
Yeah, you know, you know, the other day I got another message that said to me those exact words: "We keep giving you the message and you're not listening." You know what I mean? So I was like, really? Really, you're telling me this? Okay. You know, because it doesn't matter what deck I pick from. You know, if I ask, you know, what do I have, everything just, it's the same message over and over and over and over, and I'm like, okay, I get
That's
you now.
sometimes you need to hear it over and over until you
Yes,
get it.
yes.
So I was going to ask you that because most people always say, why do you have to have a near death experience to find your, you know, find connection or whatever? But it seems like when you hit your lowest point, it's like you say, well, you know what, if this is the worst that I can go, well, let me see how good it can then get. You know, I think
Yes.
there's a shift that happens where you start seeing it from a different perspective because you can't keep going the same way. And then
But then you learn how to, like, you know, I expect miracles. I expect things to be good, and because I do, they happen, and it's really awesome.
well, you survived twice, so yes. And those are not small things, those are major things. Yeah, no, it
Yes.
is. It's definitely a different mindset. How can people get hold of you if they want to connect or have a reading or,
Okay.
you know,
So I
I mean,
have what I'm offering right now. I'm doing a free one card reading for people that would like to see, you know, what's going on. And then I'm also offering a one, like a reading for the year, so that I do, like, you know, one major card for like your overall message, and then a card for each month. So I have a couple of different offers, and I sent that to you as well. I also have a Facebook group, Single Mom Empty Nesters. My website, it's SharonAMoreno.com.
well, Sharon, it was a pleasure meeting you. Is there anything you'd like to share that I maybe haven't asked you yet?
Um, I just, you know, like, want to get the message out that things can change. People can change. You have to do the work, but if you do the work, you can see the results. And I'm living proof of that, you know, because I have gone from absolutely, you know, rock bottom to thriving.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the truth. And things do change, and it's all just a matter of perspective. Actually, now I remember
That's
the question I
exactly
was
it.
going to ask. So, you know, Dolores Cannon, right? She did a lot of regressions over a period of quite a few years, and she shared a lot of her work online, but she's passed away since. But she was saying, and I agree with her, when people try and commit suicide or they do commit suicide, they often go back and then have to redo all those life experiences again to get to the point because they didn't do the lesson they came here to complete. So even
Right.
if you do take yourself out, and yes, it is hard. And maybe hopefully you get a body that's easier able to cope with the environment that comes through. But from my experiences, I just wouldn't want to go through that again. And that's the one thing that kept me in check. Like, really, I don't want to do this again. So let me just get the lesson. Is that
Well,
your
that's what I'm saying
experience?
about that, that if I didn't succeed with and I'm still coming back, it's like, oh no, then we got to, so yeah, we don't want to do that again.
Yeah, no,
You
because
definitely, you got to learn lessons.
yeah, and you
That's
go
what we're
through
here
that
for.
veil of forgetfulness and you have to do it all over again. Yeah, crazy, crazy. Well, Sharon, thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you. And I thank you for sharing your story. It's often hard, but the more people that hear about different options and things they can do to heal their lives, the better society becomes.
Absolutely. You got to spread the word. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely.